put behind him. I don't know if this is an injury that's going to continue to linger, but if it's going to continue to linger, it's going to continue to linger on his season and on his offensive season. He's never going to, be able to get in there and get jump-started, get his offense going. As badly as this team needs to get healthy on offense, Derek Lee is a big part of it, whether he's in the 3-hole or the 5-hole or the 6-hole. However this thing shakes itself out of the course of the season, this offense has got to get rolling, and they've got to get guys hot right now. And I think right now the offense is what's been kind of sick as a whole.
Yeah, they need to get Lee back, especially for that Brewers series. As for the pitching matchup, this one on paper, once again, you have to say favors the Cubs a little bit as we take a look. Ted Lilly taking the mound for the Cubs. Russ Ortiz toeing the rubber for the Houston Astros. And if Ted Lilly can throw the ball the way he threw it his last outing, the Cubs will be in a real good position to get a W tonight because he was outstanding. Hopefully he can follow that up now.
Ted has absolutely been the Cubs' most consistent pitcher this year. He has come out and dominated. He's had great control of his fastball, his change, his curve, his slider. He's actually, he's been good. In the outings in which he struggled have been games, for the most part, that the Cubs have had under control, and it's almost as if he's just trying to get outs and get strikes. This happened here last time he pitched here. He got the win. He gave up some home runs and some long balls, but that was the direct result of a barrage of offense from the Cubs, in which they scored 8 runs in the first 2 innings.
And which Ted Lilly even helped his own cause in that one. I believe he had 2 RBI for the first time in his career in one game. Here's a look at who Lilly will have to contend with in this Astros lineup. Several, obviously, big threats in this lineup, Carlos Lee being one of them. But as you mentioned, if Lilly can just come out, throw some strikes, and do what he can do, he can get to this Astros lineup.
Well, this Astros lineup as a whole has not been that sound this year. They have had some trouble scoring some runs. It is a good athletic offense. I mean, there's guys in there who can hit the long ball. Lance Berkman, Carlos Lee, Hunter Pence. You've added a Jason Michelson, added Jeff Kevinger, who's had some success against Ted Lilly. He's going to definitely have his work cut out. But for me, the most important thing for Ted Lilly is just keeping the ball down. When he's got the ball and he's throwing the strikes on the corners and it's below the belt, he is very, very successful, and he's been doing that so far this year. Let's hope again he does it tonight.
And we saw his last outing going pretty far in that game, 8 innings. Rich Harden trying to stretch it out, giving 7 innings. When the starters can go deep into a ball game, good things happen. It helps regulate your bullpen, and it just helps get this team going as a whole. Talked to Lou Piniella earlier about an hour ago about Ted Lilly and trying to come out and have another good outing.
As a whole, our starting pitchers have done a real nice job here. Their percentage of quality starts is really, really good. As individuals, they've had some real good games and not so good games. So, hopefully they can start piecing together some really, really good games back to back to back. Lilly's last game was really, really good against Miami, the Marlins, or Florida. And now we need for him to give us a good one again tonight.
Taking a look at the Cubs starting lineup here, you'll see Derek Lee out of that lineup. Kosuke Fukudome is batting third, followed by Aramis Ramirez, then Micah Hoffpower, who is filling in for D. Lee. Milton Bradley moving down in this order a little bit, but you have Ryan Theriot batting second, and I know, Todd, you had a chance to talk to Theriot a little bit about his recent power surge. There was some kidding around going on about it, but really it's great for the Cubs and this offense to have a guy like Theriot turn it on like that.
Well, Ryan is a guy who has collected 200 hits in his career, and he's had some great offensive success already. But it's a great example of trying to become better, trying to become a better player. Even though you've found success, you never quit trying as a baseball player to become better and to do more each year and to be a better player. And I had the chance to talk to him a little bit about his power surge, and I said, listen, I can tell that you're not doing much different up there. You look so confident right now, and you're turning on the ball. And, he just told me that he made a subtle adjustment in the box. He moved a little bit closer to the plate, and all he did was change his thought process. And his thought process was that if I get this particular pitch, this belt-high fastball that I've been driving to right field and that I've been trying to hit up the middle, even with runners not on base, I'm going to try and spin on this ball. I've been in the weight room. I've been getting strong. I know I can hit the ball out of the ballpark in batting practice. Why wouldn't I do it in the game? And it proved immediate results.
Yeah, it's been paying off for sure. Another guy we saw in that lineup, of course, is Michael Hoffpower filling in for Derek Lee. And here's a guy, a bench player who has a specific role but has been able to get a lot lot of at-bats. You know, you never want to see injury, of course, to your starters, but as far as Micah is concerned, it shows that he is truly valuable on this bench, whether or not he's filling in for Milton Bradley or Derek Lee.
Well, it's definitely a bittersweet role. Unfortunately, a lot of times you can amass certain, large numbers of at-bats as the direct result of guys being hurt, and that's the unfortunate part about it. You're never rooting against your teammate. You're never putting yourself in a position to root against your team. But in order a lot of times to get a lot of at-bats, you have to have somebody else get hurt. Well, for Micah Hoffpower so far this year, he's had that opportunity to get some more at-bats, probably more than he would have had if everybody would have come out early banging the ball around the yard. And it's been good for him because he's a guy that this Cubs offense is going to count on as a left-handed power hitter, whether he gets 300 at-bats or 500 at-bats. I mean, that's a possibility with all the injuries that have been going on this year. And, maybe he becomes the Mark DeRosa that this team seems to be kind of missing a little bit.
And the thing that's the most important, of course, is when you get that opportunity is to take advantage of it. And I had a chance to talk to Micah Hoffpower inside the clubhouse not too long ago, and he said, yeah, those ABs are going to help him in the long run.
Try not to change anything. My approach-wise, I try to stay with what I'm doing, and the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's kind of where I am. I think scouting reports and stuff like that come into play a lot more in this situation when you start getting into the regular season. But other than that, I don't think a whole lot changes. No.
There's been some inconsistency for this team as a whole on offense, up and down one day. How do you guys just collectively try to get through that and just try to stay with what you're doing and not ride the highs too much and the lows too much?
It's baseball. I mean, there's ups and downs. I mean, some days you're going to pitch well, you're not going to hit. Some days you're going to hit well, you're not going to pitch. So far, we've kind of had the ups and downs like that, but we've been able to stay pretty level-headed, I think, as a team, and I think that overall we got ourselves in a pretty good position, even not playing great baseball, throughout the last couple of weeks of the season and stuff like that. So I think that we've done a pretty good job as a team to stay where we're supposed to be.
They always say that the hits start coming once the temperatures start rising a little bit. Do you think this team can really hit a stride here in May and into June?
I sure hope so. I mean, I think we've got the person that will do it, the people on the lineup to do it, and I think that we've got obviously the arms and the staff. They've been doing a great job. I was reading today where we've got more quality starts this year than I think they have in the past, I don't know how many years, but I think that's a credit to the guys in the starting rotation and the guys in the bullpen. So I think that I feel like we can hit a pretty good stride here, and hopefully we'll get going pretty good.
Micah Hoffpower, just one of the Cub hitters in that lineup who will try to spark the offense tonight. Kosuke Fukudome is another one who is batting third. Coming up in the show, we will talk about Fukudome and how he has turned things around for himself since the end of last season. We'll also be talking about Manny Ramirez and the big 50-game suspension handed down by Major League Baseball today. It is Ted Lilly on the mound for the Cubs. Game 2 and the final game of the series against the Astros is coming up at the top of the hour. As we hit our first break, let's take a look at the NL Central standings. The St. Louis Cardinals did get a victory today, so the Cubs are now 3 games back, but they're staying in the pack there. We'll talk more about that later. Stay with us.
Cubs Pregame Live is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Verizon, it's the network.
I'm Faye McClure, Vice President of Strategic Marketing for Farmers Insurance. Farmers is proud to be the sponsor of diversity programming on Comcast Sportsnet. To learn more about our diversity initiatives, please visit iChooseFarmers.com.
Would somebody please give me some good news?
Right now at Feldco, buy one window, get one free.
That sounds good.
Call 866 for Feldco.
For a limited time, buy one Feldco window and get one free. Do a room or do your entire house.
Feldco's buy one, get one, and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Turner, what do you think? Should I get it?
Yes.
Our fashions are up to 60% less than department stores, but they work just fine.
Love burgers but hate the grease? Then you'll love Arby's new Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger. Made with freshly sliced roast beef, cheddar cheese, and thick-cut pepper bacon. Big on taste, not on grease. Try one today with any one of our freshly brewed iced fruit teas. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
see all the ways we're here to help at harrisbankhelps.com.
Performance now is all about logic. That some cars cost as much as $1,500 to maintain is one thing. That others cost even more is quite another. That a BMW costs you nothing to maintain defies all logic whatsoever. And in turn, makes it the most logical choice of all. Performance now is the 3 Series. Now you have more options to get the BMW you've always wanted.
The Cubs are trying to stay amongst the leaders in the NL Central, facing a division rival tonight, Game 2 against the Houston Astros in the final game of this short set. Cubs have an opportunity to sweep them and make a statement early here in the season. Welcome back to BMW Cubs Pregame Live. Gail Fisher and Todd Hollinsworth here with you. Now, there is one guy on this Cubs lineup who has been flying under the radar this season, and I'm not sure why, because he had a lot of pressure on him coming into this year, and that is Kosuke Fukudome. Fukudome put up all-star numbers in the first half of last season, even making the all-star team, before he completely fell off in the second half, so much so that Lou Piniella even benched him for the playoffs. So coming into spring training this year, a lot of pressure on him to try to live up to his contract. A lot of critics wanted to just do away with the Japanese import, but so far, Kosuke Fukudome has been living up to that pressure. He's learned the language.
So now in the second year, now he knows the league and he knows the United States, so he understands a little bit more the language.
He's learned more about the culture.
Getting used to the whole travel and the endurance factor, probably everything all intertwined together. And then obviously a lot of people in the history of the game play better the second year than the first, especially when you're coming from another country.
And he's even learned how to deal with manager Lou Piniella.
I think it's getting smoother since I can talk with him a little bit more and I can actually tell him what I want. So I think it is smoother.
But the one thing Kosuke Fukudome has learned the most about after 1 year in the major leagues is how to read American pitchers.
I do understand the pitchers better. More than last year, as well as I can manage the time better, which including the putting more time in hitting before the game.
Adapting to major league pitching is the #1 reason the Japanese outfielder has turned his game around. After ending 2008 in a major slump that led to his benching during the playoffs, Fukudome ended the first month of the 2009 season 3rd in the league in on-base percentage and 1st in batting average with runners in scoring position. Those numbers are a huge relief to Cubs management, who invested $40 million in the Japanese import.
He's off to a great start. So, I think for the most part in the winter, it was, he's a flop. He's buried. Get rid of him. And it just shows you what this game's all about. Sometimes you just got to hang in with people and hang with them. And he certainly is playing at a very, very high level, both offensively and defensively.
So far, Fukudome has shown he can handle the pressure and can handle playing in the major leagues. His switch to center field has been an easy transition, and from the looks of things, he's having more fun as well.
I definitely used to the environment, and I definitely having fun more than last year.
And that's one of the keys, I think. Kosuke Fukudome looks like he's having a lot more fun out there. He's joking around, playing around with his teammates. Looking at some of his numbers again, with runners in scoring position, he's batting .438. That's probably why he's in the 3 spot tonight. But Todd, this guy has quietly been having a pretty good start to the season, and I'm not sure if anyone, well, we took notice. I'm not sure if anyone's really taking notice, but this was a guy who, there was some pressure on him.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Coming into this season, I'm sure he felt no more pressure than the pressure he was putting on himself to justify the contract, to make everybody happy, really. The fans behind him in right field, his fans in Japan, all the people around him had so many expectations for him and for what a great player he was over there and for what a disappointment last year eventually turned into. He came out and made such a great statement early, raised everybody's expectations because of such an elevated level of play, and then ultimately struggled to the point where he lost his starting job and found himself on the bench in the playoffs. This year I see a relaxed, a renewed Kosuke Fukudome, a man who's going out there and enjoying the game of baseball. It's his top priority right now. I'm watching him. The same pitches he was missing last year, he's hitting. He's hitting him this year, the fastball in, because he's not spinning off the ball, because he's under control, because he looks like he knows what he wants to do up there, and he's executing his game plan. He looks relaxed, and right now I think that really has been the key, and maybe that's because it seems like there's no pressure on him, and he's just kind of part of this team now.
Yeah, I think we've noticed the cut down on the number of strikeouts. You saw from the statistics, he's driving in the runs and really making contact with the ball. He talked about reading the pitchers better. So is there an adjustment period? Maybe he came back or he studied some film and he was really able to make the adjustment?
Well, if somebody continues to have your number, sometimes it does take time to figure out what you're going to do in order to handle that. If somebody's pounding you in with fastballs and you're pulling off the ball and you're creating bad habits, the advanced scouting reports are allowing other teams to know why you're failing. So you have to find a way to combat that. You have to find a way to correct that. And it took him a little bit longer last year, it seems, to bounce back. It was like he would get himself in these ruts, and Woody would get out of them for a little bit, but the ruts would be for a long time, and the breaks of success were much smaller. You want to have that reversed. You want to be succeeding 2-3 weeks at a time, doing numbers. It doesn't mean you're going to be constantly hot and ended up on the top of the leaderboard, but you're being productive and having productive outs, and you're going to have the combination of 2 or 3 games where you go over. He was doing the opposite last year, which leads me to believe that he was uncomfortable. He did not feel good in the box, and this year he looks so much more under control, and it looks like he's just again enjoying the game, and he's got such a better idea up there of what he wants to do and how to execute his plan.
And Lou Piniella has a lot more confidence in him again as well, so that's a good thing. All right, the topic of conversation of the day. No, we're not ignoring it. We're going to talk about it right now. Manny Ramirez gets suspended 50 games for testing positive for a banned substance. And Todd, obviously this has been the hot topic, water cooler conversation all day. Were you surprised at all? I don't think anything can surprise us anymore when a big name player comes out.
Well, I am not surprised that somebody has gotten themselves in trouble with a performance-enhancing drug, so to speak. I know that there's some speculation around, what this drug is and what it can do and how it can help you. But I guess what I am surprised about is that, here we are having gone through what we've gone through, having watched Alex Rodriguez go through what he's gone through over the last 3 or 4 months. And here we are, and another megastar goes down. And the lack of accountability and the lack of responsibility for what these guys are putting in their body, it shocks me. I really am just really stunned and surprised. And, for Manny, he got a fresh start when, maybe he shouldn't have. Things didn't end well in Boston. I know that, he's going to stick to his guns and he's going to say all the right things as far as, what the LA fans want to hear. But, in Boston, and they're entitled to their opinion, but it didn't end well. And, Los Angeles embraced him and took him in, and he took them on, and they've become an incredible team, leading the National League in wins so far, and this home winning streak of 13 games now. And he's such a big part of that offense, and he's been such an influence on these young kids that have been on that team. To have this happen, it's just such a disappointment to me, and it really has been an unfortunate day for the game of baseball again.
Well, Cub fans too are going to wonder if he was doing anything last season when the Cubs faced Manny and the Dodgers in the playoffs. Of course, all of the news reports were going on inside the clubhouse, so the news was trickling down. The players were listening to it, and so was manager Lou Piniella. We asked the Cubs skipper what he thought about the Manny Ramirez suspension.
Look, I don't know enough of that situation. I know that it's unfortunate for Manny as an individual and for baseball. Another big name player is in the forefront of this particular problem. Outside of that, I really don't have much to say because I don't know the particular.
Were you surprised?
I'm always surprised. Always surprised. I guess Yeah, you don't expect these kind of things.
All right, Lou Piniella says he's always surprised, and he's glad Major League Baseball is being proactive in this now and trying to clean all of this up, Todd. 50-game suspension, is that fair? I mean, we talked earlier about how, a lot of these players, to be a deterrent, you have to be sort of very strict with this now.
Well, I don't know if you can necessarily put a number on the games, the first-time suspension. I mean, does that solve it? I don't think that it necessarily does. I'm of the school of zero tolerance, and I really want this thing wiped out and off the game. I mean, it's been such a black mark for so long, and it's been disappointing for me. I mean, obviously, I played through it and have been a part of it, part of this whole era, and it has been unfortunate. But I really believe that this game really wants to clean itself up, and they are being proactive. And so in a weird sort of way, this is a positive thing. I mean, what you're seeing here is the ability of Major League Baseball to say, you know what, our biggest star or our biggest hitting star has done something wrong, and we're going to suspend him for it.
And we'll see how it affects the Dodgers, too. They won't get him back until July. They're a very hot team right now. We'll see what happens. All right, Cubs and Astros coming up in just a few short minutes. We'll get Todd Hollinsworth. Keys to the game coming up next.
And now, it's time for the Stay in the Game Hold of the Day. Brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color.
Here is a look at our Just for Men Hair Color Stay in the Game Hold Spotlight. And the National League leaders in hold so far in 2009. Carlos Marmol picking up his 7th hold of the season in last night's win.
Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game. Cubs Pregame Live is brought to you in part by Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings.
Your home for outdoor supplies, Menards. This trellis planter from Real Wood Products combines the classic look of a trellis with the decorative look of a cedar planter. Just $79.99. Keep hoses organized with Suncast hose reels. This handy hose reel card is $19.94. This hideaway hose reel keeps hose out of sight and has a smart track feature that tracks the hose onto the reel and holds up to 225 feet of hose, $59.93. Helping keep your yard looking great, Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Chicagoans love their pizza. That's why you come to Giordano's. Some for 30 years now. We use only the finest ingredients to make Giordano's famous stuffed pizza, our equally famous thin crust pizza. Plus salads, pastas, sandwiches, and more. Come on into Giordano's and celebrate 30 great years with us. Giordano's famous stuffed pizza. We made it good. You made it famous.
Let the warm air melt these blues away.
I'm Faye McClure, Vice President of Strategic Marketing for Farmers Insurance. Farmers is proud to be the sponsor of diversity programming on Comcast Sportsnet. To learn more about our diversity initiatives, please visit iChooseFarmers.com.
USA Rugby proudly announces the largest ever domestic schedule for 2009, starting May 31st v Ireland in San Jose, June 6th v Wales in Chicago. Next, the Churchill Cup will dominate Denver as 6 international teams battle it out. And finally, the Eagles square off against Canada in a World Cup qualifier in Charleston on July 4th. Get your tickets today at usarugby.org or ticketmaster.com/rugby.
Guests on Cubs Pregame Live receive gift certificates to Harry Carey's legendary Italian Steakhouse, located in Chicago, Rosemont, and Lombard.
It's a beautiful night for baseball in Houston. We are live at Minute Maid Park as the Cubs get ready to do battle with the Houston Astros and try to sweep the short 2-game set. But in order to do that, we need Todd Hollandsworth keys to the game. Todd, it's all on you. What do they need to do to win this one?
Well, number one, they need to pressure Russ Ortiz. Veteran pitcher, lots of walks, more walks to strikeouts so far this season. Has had his struggles. He's 2-0, but he's got a 5.21. If they stay with this guy, I think he will bend, he will break. They will be able to put some runs on the board against him. Number two, keep the ball down. Ted Lilly, that's about what happened here last time. He threw the ball okay, did not throw poorly. He threw decently. He had times, I think he gave up 3 solo home runs last track, and he really needs to keep the ball down in order to be effective tonight. He's really had great control so far this year. If he keeps the ball down, he'll have good success. And running with the pack, 4 teams in the Central Division right now are above 500. What you're finding out is that there's a lot more competition in this division than I believe a lot of people thought there would be this year. And you got to run with the pack. This is a game they should have tonight, a game I think they can win.
Yeah, you win this game and you send another statement to the Houston Astros, one of your division rivals. That's going to do it for the pregame show for Todd Hollandsworth. I'm Gail Fisher. Time to send it upstairs where Len Casper and Bob Brenly have the call. Game 2 between the Cubs and Astros. Enjoy, and we'll see you afterwards.
Okay. No, you don't need. We don't need that. Yes, has to be.
Just for Men takes 5 easy minutes. Targets only the gray hair. It can take you to a more interesting place.
Who's that?
My husband.
Just for Men.
$1,000 tax, title, and license you can keep this down. It's got that full leather interior.
See all the ways we're here to help at harrisbankhelps.com.
Will somebody please give me some good news?
Right now at Feldco, buy one window, get one free.
That sounds good.
Call 866 for Feldco.
For a limited time, buy one Feldco window and get one free. Do a room or do your entire house.
Feldco's buy one, get one, and soon, call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
I'm Faye McClure, Vice President of Strategic Marketing for Farmers Insurance. Farmers is proud to be the sponsor of diversity programming on Comcast Sportsnet. To learn more about our diversity initiatives, please visit ichoosefarmers.com.
Performance now is all about logic. That some cars cost as much as $1,500 to maintain is one thing. That others cost even more is quite another. That a BMW costs you nothing to maintain defies all logic whatsoever. And in turn, makes it the most logical choice of all. Performance now is the 3 Series. Now you have more options to get the BMW you've always wanted.
Cubs Pregame Live is brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area BMW dealers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
As the Blackhawks charge through the playoffs, only one network is there every step of the way. Comcast Sportsnet. The best pre- and post-game shows. The best-looking and clearest-sounding playoff broadcast.
Right to the goal, to the backhand. He scores!
Barker
Centered one, a shot, they score! And that is the hat trick.
And the most in-depth coverage every night on Sports Night. Comcast Sportsnet. The ultimate playoff destination for your Chicago Blackhawks.
Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. We're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. The Cubs have their bags packed. It's getaway night. They go for the sweep in this 2-game series after winning Game 1 against the Astros last night. Hi again, everyone. Alongside Bob Brindley, I'm Len Casper. Cardinals already won today, so the Cubs would like to win to keep pace, and they've done very well in this ballpark lately.
Well, they're in the right ballpark if they want to win a ball game. They've had great success. Their last 7 games here at Minute Maid Park, they've won 6 of them, and they've dominated the Astros every way you possibly can. They've outscored them by 4 runs a game. See the team ERA, the batting average with runners in scoring position. They've beaten them every which way.
Cubs going back to 2000 when this park opened, 40-38 overall. Now the pitching matchup, kind of interesting, Bob. Last night, Rich Harden better on the road than at home, but for Ted Lilly, just the opposite so far.
Well, he's pitched really good at Wrigley Field, but he has had one good ball game in this park already this year. It might not look like it if you look at his numbers. He went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs, but his team spotted him to a huge lead in that game. He was able to cruise to an 11-6 victory. For Russ Ortiz, the offense has to be patient. He doesn't throw a lot of strikes.
And the Astros are 3-0 when Ortiz has started. So Lilly and Ortiz on the mound, and coming up, the Cubs go for that sweep. They're playing good ball. They've won 5 of their last 6. We'll have the Cubs and the Astros. Game 2 of this series coming up next.
Performance now is all about logic. That some cars cost as much as $1,500 to maintain is one thing. That others cost even more is quite another. That a BMW costs you nothing to maintain defies all logic whatsoever. And in turn, makes it the most logical choice of all. Performance now is the 3 Series. Now you have more options to get the BMW you've always wanted.
Thanks. All right, no problem. Wait. Got it.
See all the ways we're here to help at harrisbankhelps.com.
Your one-stop shop for shingles, Menards. IKO Biltmore 35-year laminated architectural shingles have a shake-style appearance and take less time to install. Available in 8 colors, only $25.99 a bundle. Plus, get a $50 rebate with qualifying purchase. Seal your roof with professional-grade coating from Seal Best. It stops leaks and provides long-lasting protection. Choose from plastic roof cement for use on wet or dry surfaces or fibered roof and foundation coating, $6.97.
Save big money at Menards.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by the all-new 2010 Lexus RS, reinventing the vehicle that invented it all. Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. McDonald's of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Honda. Test drive a 2009 Honda today at your Honda dealer. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, dedicated to giving you the security to experience wellness everywhere. Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
Well, nice outdoors, but a little warmer and very humid, so the roof is closed tonight. Worked up quite a lather walking over from the team hotel today. But air conditioning inside Minute Maid Park as Russ Ortiz gets ready to work on the top of the first. And let's check out the Cubs Southwest starting lineup, written out by Sweet Lou Piniella, Soriano, Terrio, and Fukudome. Kosuke back in the lineup against the righty. Ramirez 4th, Hoffpower 5th, Milton Bradley hit 135, trying to get on track. Lou's trying to take some pressure off him by moving him down in the order. Fontenot's been hot lately. Soto batting 8th, and Ted Lilly had a big 2-run double in his last start.
Take a look at the Astros defensively, brought to you by Home Depot. Carlos Lee in left field once again tonight. Jason Michaels getting the start in center field for Michael Bourne against the left-handed pitcher Ted Lilly. Hunter Pence over in right field. Jeff Keppinger, the right-handed part of the platoon, at third base tonight. Miguel Tejada, Kaz Matsui up the middle. Lance Berkman over at first base. Bud Rodriguez had a rough one last night. A couple of pass balls. He'll be behind the plate tonight for right-hander Russ Ortiz. See those career numbers against the Cubs. Russ Ortiz has had problems finding the strike zone this year. In 19 innings of work in the 09 season, 17 base on balls against only 14 strikeouts.
Well, the umpire's Adrian Johnson. Texas native will work the plate. Hudson, Hirschbeck, the crew chief, and Bell around the bases. Cardinals already won today 5-2 over the Pirates, so the Cubs are 3 back in third in the Central. The Astros are in last 7 games out. We're underway. Fastball missing to Soriano. 1 ball, no strikes. 83 degrees outside, about 10 degrees cooler indoors. Flags aren't moving tonight. It was blowing straight out to left last night. I only saw 2 home runs, however. And both were hit into the Crawford boxes. Ramirez and later Lance Berkman.
Yeah, Berkman was a slicing drive to the opposite field. Got about 2 or 3 rows up into the boxes. Ramirez, pretty good blast to left field.
Fly ball. It's pretty well hit, but a lot of room. It's 404, as you can see to the left of Jason Michaels, who makes the catch.
And for Russ Ortiz, you'll see a fastball, a curveball, a changeup, and a slider. He'll sink his fastball. He'll cut it. Velocity in the high 80s to low 90s. Just almost refuses to give in to the strike zone. He'll nibble around the edges, trying to let hitters get themselves out. Doesn't really want to come in the zone unless he absolutely has to.
High for ball 1 to Ryan Theriot. Five at bats last night, and he went hitless. Ortiz, his first outing was in relief this year, and it was against the Cubs. He went 3 innings, gave up a 3-run homer to Mike Fontenot. It was the only home run he's allowed on the season. Ortiz now in the back end of his career, but he's 30 games over 500, 112 and 82.
He's had an 18-win season back in 1999 for the San Francisco Giants, a 14-win season in 2000, won 21 games for the Atlanta Braves in 03. A slew of arm problems. And finds himself in the rotation here for the Astros.
And he walks Theriot. That is a problem for Ortiz, as you pointed out. Astros losing last night 6-3, but I don't think that was top of mind for them, and there were a lot of comments after the game. They didn't make any excuses about the way they played, but the news about their hitting coach Sean Barry came out just a few hours before the game. He'll have a cancerous tumor removed from his right kidney, I guess tomorrow morning. So a lot of guys in their clubhouse were pretty shell-shocked, as you can understand. So yeah, he's scheduled for a 7:30 appointment tomorrow morning.
Well, needless to say, we wish him the best of luck and hope he recovers from this and gets back to help his team out in the very near future. And Lance Berkman saw a sign on the wall in the clubhouse that said a 4:15 meeting yesterday, and he assumed they were going to get chewed out for the way they'd been playing recently, but when the news came out that Barry was having some physical problems, you can imagine the dark cloud that put over the Astros clubhouse.
1-1 on Kosuke. Still looking for his first hit this month. He's 0 for 9 in the month of May. Did not have a hit on the last homestand, but had a really good April. Inside 2-1. He hit .338 in April, averaged down to 300 going into tonight. Quick throw to first, and Theriot's back, and let's get it out of the way right off the bat. The big news in baseball, Manny Ramirez suspended for 50 games, 5-0, for testing positive for a banned substance. We'll let the experts on whatever the drug was they found talk about that. But the Dodgers, off to the best start in all of baseball, they still haven't lost at home. It'll be very interesting to see how they respond for the better part of the next 2 months. Without arguably the top hitter, save for Albert Pujols, in the entire league.
Juan Pierre figures to get most of the playing time in the absence of Manny Ramirez, and we like Juan Pierre an awful lot, but offensively that is a huge step down.
So they will not have Manny's services for a 4-game series at Wrigley Field at the end of May. And they're at home again tonight against the Nationals. Expect Terrio to be running on a 3-2 to Kosuke. There he goes. Ground ball, base hit. Snaps the over. Terrio's going to end up at third. Start to the season here in Houston. The spotlight, Bob's going to be a little brighter on Kosuke this month, considering what happened in his rookie season. He had a really good April last year. I do think it'll be different this time around.
Well, hopefully he learned from the experience last year, and I think the biggest lesson he learned was that when you're going well, teams are not going to continue to feed you the same pitches that you're hitting. Advanced scouting, the videotape scouting that teams do nowadays, they're going to find a weakness, and they're also going to find your strengths, and they're going to stay away from those strengths. You have to make adjustments as teams make adjustments against you, or ideally make the adjustments before they do. I mean, we saw that spinning swing, swinging and missing, teams pounding him inside with fastballs, a lot of off-speed stuff off the plate away, and he really didn't have any counter to that particular attack.
Quick throw to third, and they got him. And Terry is livid. He is absolutely livid with Wally Bell. We'll obviously get another look at it. From our vantage point, it looked like they got him. But he thought he got back in.
At least it looked like the ball beat him back to third base. And we know Pudge Rodriguez loves to throw to the bases. Tough to tell from that angle. Jeff Keppinger coming in from his third base position. Pudge with that drop step behind the batter at the plate. I think Terrio's argument was Keppinger tried to tag the right arm, and it looked like Ryan pulled that arm back out of the way and touched the base with his left arm.
So 2 outs and 2-1 on Ramirez, and tells you something about Pudge Rodriguez. I think he was a little embarrassed last night. He talked about he had a really rough night behind the plate, charged with 2 passed balls, and both resulted in runs. So he came out firing in the first inning tonight. No play for Pudge.
Not only the 2 passed balls, but just a lot of borderline pitches that normally Pudge would push back toward the strike zone, get a call for his pitcher from time to time. He just didn't seem to be plugged in with Mike Hampton at all last night. Really struggled to make the pitches look good, struggled to catch some of the pitches.
Two and 2 on Ramirez. The kick and the pitch. Laid off the slider. Said that. You can't get picked off third, now with Ramirez at the plate. It's definitely one of those cardinal sins. RBI guy up there. That's a huge out. 3-2 with Kosuke running, and it's hit foul.
In a weird kind of way, Ryan probably would have been better off going back to the bag at third, standing up. The throw coming from behind the plate. Pudge was well into foul territory, throwing back across the line to his third baseman, and when Terrio went into the head-first slide, it cleared a lane for the ball to go right to the third baseman, and if indeed they got the tag down, he was out.
Another 3-2, and that's ball 4. 2 walks in the inning. Bringing up of Micah Hoffpower coming in for the second straight night for Derek Lee. His neck feels better. He told me he's hoping to get back in there tomorrow night. He said it really wasn't the plane ride. He started to feel it a little bit after the game against the Giants. Felt it a little more on the bus ride, and then yesterday just was not ready to go. Fouled back by Micah. Like this night, Bob is already kind of playing out like a typical Russ Ortiz outing. 23 pitches already in the first inning.
Lots of 3-ball counts, lots of full counts. This is where Gerald Perry's approach of attacking that strike zone, aggressive patience or patient aggressiveness, however you want to term it, is really going to come into play.
Try to score a run. Here comes the throw to the plate, and Kosuke slides in safely. Throw got by Rodriguez. Hoffpower delivers 1-0.
Big base hit from Micah Hoffpower. That momentum shift that appeared to be going to the first base dugout with that pickoff at third base now goes right back to the third base dugout. Big 2-out base hit from Micah Hoffpower. A little soft liner into right field. We know Hunter Pence throws extremely well out there, but Fukudome off with the crack of the bat, and he'll score without a play at home.
Here's Bradley hitting 6th. 2 hits, 2 walks in the inning. Pitch. And a good cut, fouled it back. Todd Willemeyer got the win in that Cardinals 5-2 decision over the Pirates. They go to 3-2. Cardinals now 19-10. Milwaukee and Cincinnati are 3-3 as they play the 4th in the Great American Ballpark. Looks like Bill Hall's back in the Brewers lineup. Tweaked a hamstring the other night in his first career inning and left. Struck him out on the high fastball, and that ends the inning. Cubs do strike first, even after the pickoff at third. Hoffpower, the 2-out RBI single, and it's Cubs 1, Astros coming up.
Experience a Cubs game at historic Wrigley Field. Individual tickets are available for upcoming games. Get your tickets now by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS, visiting the Wrigley Field box office, or by logging on to Cubs.com. See you at beautiful Wrigley Field.
This summer, cold refreshment will show its true colors. Because every Coors Light can is now cold activated. The new Coors Light cold activated can. Opening soon. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Here's to the power of doing. Doing more with your hands, your shovel, and your budget. We've lowered over 1,000 prices so you can pay less and do more. We're bringing you locally selected plants and the beauty of spring. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get Mom the colors of spring with great hanging baskets and container plants at our everyday low prices.
Value never tasted so good. Try Chili's new 10 entrees for under $7 each, like our mouth-watering honey chipotle crispers and melted to perfection quesadillas. 10 perfectly portioned favorites all under $7. Right now at Chili's.
Cubs got a run on the top of the first. Let's check out the Astros Southwest starting lineup as we get into the last of the first. Matsui, Tejada, and Berkman now the all-time leader in slugging percentage among switch hitters. Carlos Lee's in left, Hunter Pence in right. Jason Michaels getting the start against the lefty. Pudge is in there catching. Keppinger killing lefties, and Russ Ortiz does a good job with the bat as Kaz Matsui will dig in against Ted Lilly. The corner men pinched in. I'll mention the numbers for Lilly in his season debut here. They weren't that pretty. He gave up 4 home runs, but he got 11 runs in support and got the win.
He was just in strike-throwing mode in that game. Once his offense spotted him to the big lead, he just wanted to avoid the base-on balls, avoid the big inning, and he did give up some tape measure home runs in that game.
At home, a 0.42 earned run average, but in 2 starts on the road, it's 9. And he's given up 5 homers in 10 innings. And he's gone 3-0 on Matsui. Astros are better against lefties than they are against righties. A lot of loaded batting average versus lefties in this lineup, and 4-pitch walk is starting.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Home Depot. Soriano, Fukudome, and Bradley across the outfield. Ramirez and Terrio on the left side. Fontenot, Hoffpower on the right side of the infield tonight. Giovanni Soto back behind the dish for the left-hander Ted Lilly.
I'd be curious to know what the all-time record is for a starting pitcher who walks the leadoff man in the first inning. It's never a good way to start. No. Tejada hit 5th last night against Rich Harden. Up to the 2-hole tonight against the Southpaw. Decent lead by Matsui. 5 straight bad ones from Lilly as Soto goes out.
Everything up. That needs to make some kind of an adjustment out there on the mound. Maybe pick a different target on Giovanni Soto. Sometimes instead of throwing to the mitt, throw to the shin guards. So pick a target that's a little bit lower. And for Giovanni Soto's part, call some pitches down and in right now. Really have Ted reach out, finish his pitches, get the ball down in the strike zone.
Tejada 393 versus lefties.
And Dave Clark, the third base coach, going through a long series of signs down there. Matsui at first, Tejada both giving him a long look. You wouldn't think anything would be on after 6 straight pitches out of the zone.
And the Astros lead on the first strike from Ted Lilly after 6 straight bad ones. Tejada with his first home run of 2009. First homer in 174 at-bats. Just broke the longest homerless drought of his career.
Well, it goes without saying when you're missing the strike zone, that hitter's just looking for one pitch. And for Tejada, that's a high fastball. Up and out over the plate. He got it and didn't miss it.
Well, another pitch way up. But for the first time, an Astro decided to swing at it. Called strike on Lance Berkman. The only way you can look at it if you're Ted and Giovanni is you just put it out of your mind. You feel like you're starting the inning over. Nobody on. Don't have to work from the stretch. Let's just forget what just happened. And Berkman's a leadoff guy. That's probably how you have to approach it.
Can't bring it back, that's for sure.
0-2. Ground ball to Ramirez.
I mean, you'd like to think the Cubs offensively will be able to get that back in this ball game as we move forward. Had a good approach against Russ Ortiz in that top half of the first inning. Just have to limit the damage here.
Carlos Lee off to a good start in May. 10 for 23, has a 6-game hitting streak. 1 ball, no strikes. The last start for Ted Lilly was the best start of the year by any Cubs starting pitcher. 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. As Lee gets under 1. But no play for Aramis. Didn't walk anybody, 10 strikeouts. As you said, you don't get a do-over in the first batter tonight, unfortunately. And kind of set a bad tone, and then Tejada hit the home run after he missed twice. Pulled into left, 7-game streak for Lee. He's hustling around first and will stay there with a single.
Nice play by Soriano out there in left field. Got to that ball quickly, made a backhanded play, and came up firing, challenging Carlos Lee to go ahead and try to take second base. It looked like his days as a second baseman with the Yankees, going up the middle field in the ground ball. Nice backhanded play.
Well, an exception to the rule in Hunter Pence. He's been a lot better versus righties. In fact, last night he had 2 hits against Rich Harden, who otherwise was very good. 7 plus 3 runs, 8 hits. He got the win. Hit right field. First and second. 3rd hit of the inning, and that'll bring Larry Rothschild to the mound.
Pence just slashes that ball into right field. He had that big hole on the right side of the infield. I've talked about it in the past. The 1984 Cubs team had as many smart hitters on one ball club as I ever saw. Jody Davis and Ryan Sandberg and Keith Moreland and Gary Wood. If you put a runner at first base, all those guys would try to shoot that hole in the right side of the infield. And the way major league pitchers work most of the time, they're going to throw the majority of the pitches on the outside part of the plate, and that was playing right into their hands. That looked like Pence was trying to shoot that ball to right field. Came up with a base hit.
Now Jason Michaels, who gets most of his time as a pinch hitter, but he's in the lineup for Michael Bourne. Double play depth all the way around. 2-1 Astros. We're only in the first inning. Starters have had trouble settling in. Called strike. Michaels will give you a good at bat. He's patient. But not that patient. Ask for time. The kick in the 0-1. He fouled it back. 0-2. The catcher Rodriguez on deck.
First two pitches to Michaels here. Fastballs inside. Astros with a 268 average against the Cubs. I think the message from Larry Rothschild was, don't forget your fastball. Threw some off-speed pitches. Carlos Lee was able to stay back and hit a changeup down into the left field corner. Don't try to get too cute in the early going. I mean, there's that school of thought that says establish your fastball early in the game.
Bounce back to Lilly. They get one, they get two. It'll go 1-4-3 to end the inning. Bad start, but a strong finish to the first for Lilly. It's 2-1 Houston.
Thank you. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
9, please.
Don't like stopping? Fly Southwest Airlines' new nonstop service from Chicago Midway to New York LaGuardia starting June 28th, or Boston Logan starting August 16th for just $89 one way. Book now at southwest.com. Low fares, no hidden fees.